Hello, Oracles. Oh, man, here it comes. Let's see. Oh, you guys got some comments already. Let's go through these. I'll take this off the screen for the moment. I'm just going to keep on refreshing that. I'm actually using my laptop's camera just because it's easier for me to refresh on my phone. And I was using my phone as my camera, so I will just continue refreshing. And if you guys happen to catch it come up before I do, just let me know, and we will switch over. Let me see. Yeah, so typically in the past, it's come out. The numbers have been out around like 12 noon. So it's been getting later and later, but the last few quarters have been around noon. So we will see. And until then, we'll just chat. I actually had a nice little chat with Brian from My Tesla Weekend before we got on here. We recorded a little video for his channel. He will put that out tomorrow. It is the 5 reasons why not to sell Tesla stock as a long-term investor. So you guys can check that out tomorrow when Brian releases it. What is going on? Hi, last quarter, Tesla had 75,000 cars in transit or inventory. Shipping has been much smoother this quarter, so it's not impossible that Elon can make higher deliveries than production numbers. True, but Brian and I actually were discussing it beforehand. There are a lot of vehicles sitting in lots or on the dock over in Shanghai. So the delivery wave has basically been smoothed out. Berlin has helped with that a lot. However, I do believe that there's going to be a lot of vehicles that are just kind of sitting in inventory as well. So Brian and I are both in the same boat, believing that we are going to be seeing a significantly higher production number than deliveries. So I did update my production numbers here, and I have production of 478,470, and my deliveries are 448,000 still. I usually go over production numbers. I focus on the production because it's just easier to calculate. And then off of that, it's just a matter of what percentage of the production do I believe that are going to get delivered. And there's a lot of different other factors that I look into as well when it comes to, what we have for insured rates over in China, what we're seeing. I know Troy goes through VIN numbers as well. Lots of different things. I don't have the time like those guys do to go through all of it. So I do a percentage and just whatever info I can gather to kind of dial it in. What's going on, Alex? Yeah, it sure is being a fun part of this community. This community is awesome. I love you guys. It's such a good community to have because we can all have differing opinions and views and discuss it like normal adults. Granted, over on Twitter, some people are still not like that, even within the community, but for the most part, we're all like that. So how's it going, Felipe? Good morning, David. How many deliveries? I've got 448. Consensus estimates 445. Some people are well over that. I mean, looking at the numbers of production that they could have achieved, that could have exceeded 500,000 for this quarter if they pushed it. But the question is, did they push it or did they want to push it? Do they have the deliveries to justify pushing it or not? And I think that's really what it's going to come down to, is just that. Morning, Lang. Raymond, Wall Street delivery is somewhere between 445 and 450, but I think the stock drops significantly, even if we just meet expectations. It might, and that was actually my question going into this weekend, was watching that run. We had a little bit of a dip, and then we ran up into the weekend. Is it going to be a sell the news situation? Is it going to be, hey, if we meet expectations, we sell off? If we miss, we sell off even more. If we beat expectations, maybe we just hold steady. And then, of course, it comes down to how much did we miss or beat by. You hoping for a miss for a buy the dip opportunity, or hoping for a beat, then to the moon we go? My thoughts are, I'm prepared either way. So I'm not hoping one way or the other particularly. If we beat expectations and skyrocket, I'm going to enjoy it and celebrate. If we miss expectations and we dip, then I'm ready to buy that dip. As far as I'm concerned, long-term, obviously, truly doesn't matter. Long-term, we are going to be seeing, I think, the stock price. And again, Brian's video tomorrow will go over the 5 reasons I believe you should not be selling Tesla stock as a long-term investor. Obviously, as a swing trader or for other reasons, or somebody who's only in this for a short period of time, there's a multitude of reasons why maybe you should sell it if you're trying to swing trade. But for a long-term investor, We went over that, and that's why for me, if we get a dip tomorrow because of it, I will absolutely be buying in. So uh, yeah. So either way, I think I'm going to be happy. How many dollars do you have invested in Tesla currently? Well, between Tesla stock in both my main portfolio and my IRA and TSLY and TSLL, gosh, I want to say upwards of 30 or $40,000 I've got into it. Actually, I could let me do the math really quick right here. I've got my spreadsheet set up. Get you guys that info. I have no problem sharing that with you guys. So let me see. My main portfolio's got just over 18,000. TSLY is about 1,000. I don't even have TSL listed on here. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, and how much in that? And then TSLA in my IRA is, and I have a lot I got to buy back in over there too. That is about 3,000. So about $25,000. I've got $20,000 to $25,000 I've got into it. So, but that is between for my portfolio itself. Tesla is at 74% of my portfolio. So my portfolio is still growing. I mean, the way I look at it is 2 years ago, I had about $2,000 in my portfolio, and I've been adding significantly every single day to Tesla and other areas, and my portfolio is up to $25,000 in 2 years. So growing quickly, and Tesla is a big piece of that. When we get the number, based upon historically around noon. So I wasn't sure if they were going to drop it early, so that's why I wanted to come on. Plus, I like to chat with you guys, and once the number comes out, we'll kind of rehash it. And I'll kind of do a little rehash video with you guys and some questions that we can discuss. And I'll probably chop that out and make it its own separate video so people don't have to watch, or I'll just timestamp it so people don't have to watch the 45 minutes unless they want to of us chatting. But still nothing yet. 460,000 deliveries. I mean, it'd be nice. I would certainly take that because you figure last quarter we had 422,000 deliveries. Gosh, what was it before that? Was it 405? I think. I'm just going to dive into the numbers now really quick. Yeah, 405. So we went from 405 to 422. So about a 17,000 vehicle jump from there. So even if we got a 20 to 25,000 vehicle jump to push us to around that 450,000 vehicle mark, that makes sense. Let's go 500K. It was funny because talking with Brian and James Stevenson, both of them had super high numbers, but they don't update deliveries as regularly. James just does a quarterly number, and then he updates it every quarter, so he doesn't touch it until that time is up. And both of them were over 500,000. I was actually I was at 509,000 for production, but due to the delivery crunch that's been going on globally for the entire automotive market, I figured that Tesla would probably, it wouldn't behoove them to continue producing as quickly as they were, just because as we've seen, the delivery demand has been kind of like swinging up and down based upon their price changes. So I think they were playing around with that. And so I subdued mine down to that 478,000 vehicle production, 478,000 vehicle production. So, so that's where I'm at for production. And then I do think we're going to see that gap in deliveries. 600. Let me just tell you, if they hit 600,000 deliveries this quarter, forget about it. The stock is going to go like crazy, but we have not seen production to be able to necessitate that number, but that'd be awesome. Tired of these dips to help those late to the party. I mean, I agree, Alan, but I am one of the ones who was late to the party. At least when the party started, I was not around for that. Once people realized that the party was going and then we got some downtime, that's when I jumped in. So I get it, but it's not, it's obviously not strictly for helping the people who are late to the party. They just have an opportunity to get in again themselves. It's all this to me, it's all macro driven. So give it a year. I think within the next year, we will no longer be worrying about major dips. It'll just be the normal market cycle dips. That's all. You hit your 200 shares. Awesome. Congratulations. Buying each month. Yeah, I'm at 72 shares right now. So hitting 200 by the end of this year is going to be tough. Either need major income flow coming in, or I'm going to need the stock price to tank significantly to be able to make it to 200, but making 100 will not be a problem. And thank you all. I just saw what I will be getting for next month's revenue from YouTube, and all the super thanks, super chats, and everything from you guys will go into that. So I will be I'll as soon as I get that, that's on the 21st of July. I'll let you guys know, and I'll dump it in. And 21st of July, ironically, is 2 days after earnings. So it'll be good timing for me to dump in right after earnings. So maybe we run up and I don't get as much, or maybe we come down and I can get more. Let's see. Just checking to see if anything released. Nope, still nothing. Over 20% of TSLA. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Yeah, and again, everybody has their own risk tolerance. I'm a fan of diversity, which is why I'm not all in Tesla, and I do have a lot of cash in different areas to get cash flow generation. Because what the problem I ran into is I can only buy so much Tesla stock, and if the stock continues to go up, it's going to be harder and harder for me to accumulate shares if my income doesn't go up. So I was trying to find ways to invest my money while Tesla's was sort of trading sideways. Where can I invest my money to make more money while Tesla's trading sideways, so I can then invest more into Tesla in that time frame? And that's where I came up with my CDs and all of my ETF dividends. And TSLY was an awesome one because I get the most dividends and I'm still in Tesla stock. So that's what I did with most of my money, just to get cash flow generation to be able to purchase more Tesla. You have 450 shares of Tesla. Should I do covered calls? I can't tell you one way or another, but I have heard extremely good information and great feedback on success from people doing covered calls, either selling puts or covered calls. Either way, I've heard very good things about them. Um, Definitely, if you have not done it before, do paper trading versions of it first to get some practice in, to understand how the decay works in all of that. But I've heard very good things about it. Avoid all options or trading. Yeah, I mean, and again, everybody's risk tolerance is different, and some people are awesome with options. Some people love them. I know Karav is a big fan of the options. So learn about it. Being in it long term, I think we're going to be successful. But if you're looking for something a little more exciting to do along the way as we get there, then you can take a look at options. Raymond, I sold most holdings I bought using margin last Friday. Awesome. So I buy the dip if on Monday. My core holding is still below my average cost base, so I hope it won't go up. Good either way. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is the reason I had dropped down my cost basis is I do think the stock price will come down below my cost basis, which is 221, and because of that, um, I've just minimized down to $15 a day into it, because I do think I'll be able to lower my cost basis still in the future. Hello, what is your name? New to the channel, like your style. I appreciate that. Thank you. My name is Tim. I am Tim, Oracle Tim. Uh, Call me whatever you want, but Tim is my name. I'm 100% cash, so I guess hoping for a slight mess. Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting there on that much cash, and again, just a reminder, institutions out there are still sitting on trillions of dollars of cash, or their cash is in bonds. So it's not like these institutions have dumped all their money back into the market. They are still anticipating something happening in the next 12 months that are going to give them better buying opportunities. Um, so they have been dipping in. Usually, again, that's end of the quarter. That's when they do their rebalancing. That's when they buy in. So it's just something to pay attention to as to what the institutions are doing, because when the institutions do buy in, that's going to push the market and the stock up significantly at a more steady pace. What's the conscientious number? About 445 to 450. Consensus number. Sorry. Consensus, yeah, for consensus, Wall Street consensus is just over 445, and I believe it was 446 for the compiled consensus from Tesla. Yep, should be. Yep, about 30 minutes. It should be coming out. Good morning, Crystal. Let me see. If delivery is good, then earnings good on the 17th. Earnings are on the 19th. Is it the 19th? Gosh, well, let me check and make sure I'm correct on this. Yeah, earnings are on the 19th. But if delivery number is good, then it could be. So regardless of what happens today, the next question after this deliveries number is going to be margins. We're going to be looking at what are we looking at for margins, average selling price. Tesla had to drop the prices a lot, but then they went back up on prices in some areas. So the deliveries is the big one because did the price cuts that Tesla did across the quarter make up a difference to be able to bring in more deliveries? If that's the case, and let's say they exceed 450,000 deliveries, the question will then be, well, did they exceed that 450,000 delivery mark because they dropped prices so much? Are they going to be taking a hit on margins because of that? Or if they took a miss, is that even worse? Did they take a hit and they're going to have a margin miss and they're going to be missing on deliveries and make it even worse? So there's going to be a bit of uncertainty in a lot of these questions that come up over the next 2 to 3 weeks before we get to earnings. Um, and so to answer that question, if delivery is good, if delivery is good, it will be better for earnings, just because at least then you'll know that you've had the vehicles there. So what Tesla is doing with prices is working to bring demand back up. But is it because they took a margin hit? That's going to be the next question. Let's see. So nervous holding calls and hedged small amount of puts. Yeah. And for me, because I don't play options, that's why just my strategy is the basic hedging strategy where I buy every single day, but still hold the cash in case it pulls down so I can add more lower. Andy, I have 905 shares. Awesome. Nice, man. Almost at the 1,000 here. Currently hold until 2030. We'll add more if drop. Nice. Pushing that 1,000 mark. I love it. Buddy, hello from Germany. How's it going? I took German for 3 years in high school and remember almost none of it. But guten Tag. If you are very sure on stockpile Tesla or McDonald's when the market crashes, you must have the guts to buy it because the companies will survive and thrive upon return. Yeah, and that's the big thing is, as my dad and I were talking about swing trading, because of the volatile times that we're in right now and the economy could be bankrupting several companies, swing trading, there's nothing wrong with it, but for a conservative swing trader going into, the blue chip stocks, the Apples, Googles, Amazons, things like that, to swing trader Teslas makes a lot of sense because worst cases is you miss an opportunity to buy or sell and you just wait for the next opportunity because there will be one. With these companies, unless something catastrophic happens, there will always be another opportunity if you miss one for them. But when you're getting into another company that maybe is a startup or maybe hasn't hit profitability yet, but they're swinging volatilely and there's a good chance to make a lot of money, there's a higher risk there that maybe they do go bankrupt and you lose all of that altogether. Love your show, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Percentage of my portfolio, I'd have to do the full calculations. Like I said, in my just stock portfolio, it's 74%. In my entire portfolio, I'll have to do the math on that and break it all out. It's significantly lower, but again, that's because I have a huge chunk of money sitting on the side waiting to buy a house. Karav, what is going on, my man? Yes, it is that time of year, that time of quarter. The more and more data I'm getting, I'm thinking if we get a beat, that'd be awesome. I'll take a beat for sure. It's still not out yet. Sales numbers should be coming out in hopefully within the next half an hour. Let me see. I think S&P touches all-time high this year. Not sure about Tesla. Yeah, when we're looking at discussing what Adam and I talked about. Sorry, need some water already. Looking at the interest rates and how the Fed does when they're pausing and pivoting. Typically, when the Fed pauses, we see a run to all-time highs. We've hit a 52-week high in the S&P recently this past week. So if we continue to go up, will we hit an all-time high? And if that's the case, we run up, hit that all-time high. It's at that point that something happens in the economy. This time around, it could be the housing market crash. Hearing a lot of news about Airbnb down 50% revenues, although the stock didn't crash. But that's telling me that there's a lot of the housing market that is not being booked right now. And there could be a lot of foreclosures. These people who own Airbnbs, if they're not bringing in the revenue to compensate for the mortgage or pay for it, they might be selling these houses off. And if they do, there's going to be a huge influx of inventory to the housing market. Huge influx of inventory to the housing market means that you're going to end up having prices coming down. Supply and demand. That's strictly what it is. Then that comes down. That's when you start to see, the Fed start to pivot. But as that's coming down, why are we seeing the housing market coming down? Why are we seeing so many foreclosures? Why are so many houses hitting inventory? It's because people don't have the money to afford whatever it is to either rent them or buy them or even have their mortgages. That is that whole domino effect that we're seeing happening. And as that comes in, that's where we see that whole entire market crash. So after we hit all-time highs, we have that domino effect start. We start crashing down along the way. The Fed recognizes this because they're using lagging data. So it could be 2 to 3 months into this sharp pull down in the market that the Fed decides that they're going to pivot. That could end up being Q1 of next year. But at that point, we've already started that downward slide. Now the Fed has to try and backtrack and catch up to try and offset that. And again, because they're using lagging data and because the interest rate changes that they make take 6 months, upwards of 6 months to actually take effect, there's that window of about 6 to 12 months that it swings back and forth from based on their data to when it actually takes effect. That's when the whole entire market becomes crashing down. Love your show, Tim. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate that. Let me see. Thanks, Tim. A couple times you have mentioned that Tesla could correct back to 150. Is this based on really bad macro or Tesla challenges or a combo? It would be really macro related, but because of what's going on with the macro environment, um, it would be because, like as Elon said, the interest rates being so high, big ticket purchases like a vehicle are down globally, not a Tesla specific thing, but because of the interest rates, it's affecting the entire automotive market. So I think the pullback to 150 and filling that gap at 146 is mostly macro related, but because the macro itself is going to affect Tesla more heavily than it would maybe some other companies like an Apple, I think that's what's going to cause maybe an overreaction to Tesla. Plus, we all know that a lot of people, as Elon says, a lot of people go into margin. And why we saw the massive crash last year was because so many people were in margin. And all these people who were in margin, you know, they end up getting these margin calls, the stock pulls down, and the big hedge funds and all these market manipulators have access to know where everyone is at when it comes to their margin calls. What level do we need to bring the stock price to get them margin called? And they will force it down there. That's when you start to see all these FUD news pieces come out. So all the stuff that right now, because we're kind of in a positive momentum, a lot of the negative stuff is kind of getting pushed to the wayside. But you've seen it before. When we get to that point where Tesla's pulling down, every little tiny thing is going to be just exasperated and come out and be that much more magnified and bring the stock price down even more. So I think Tesla will feel the macro more, but I think it will be the macro that is actually what causes it to come down. Let's see. Yep. Earnings. Yep. On the 19th at 4:05. Yeah, they're right after. Some companies wait till like 4:10, 4:15, but Tesla's right after. And we will be doing a live stream that day. So Peggy and I will be on. We're looking at I think we're gonna end up having Brian on here from My Tesla Weekend. We're gonna look to see if we can get anybody else on as well. We'll start that show around 3:30. Have a nice discussion going up into the earnings, and then at the earnings, we will obviously share those, and then we'll discuss the earnings and chat about it until they have the live stream for the earnings call, and then we'll do that on here. So it'll be a long, like probably 3-hour live stream that day. So make sure you make some dinner and be ready, or lunch, wherever you are in the world. Let me see. Also, energy and have they incurred any significant costs? When does Mexico start burning money? So Mexico groundbreaking should be happening very soon, and they've already allocated funds for at least the building of the factory, but when it comes to the actual ramp and the ramp costs, that won't hit probably till Q4 of 2024. So that's when we would start feeling that. I mean, unless they really get through it quickly, then maybe Q3, but we probably won't see the effects of money burning in Mexico until Q4 of 2024 and then Q1 of 2025 for sure. How much rain till should be out in about 20, 25 minutes. I keep refreshing on my phone. I see nothing yet. Um, da, 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 da. Is there still a problem with FSD passing parked school buses? That I don't know. Actually, I have not heard that. I know we had discussions about potholes and things like that, and that is currently being worked on. So it's gotten better. Um, But yeah, did not know about the school bus thing. I do know that I've seen some with school buses with the stop sign out, and it does stop. So I don't know what the other issues were with it. Origination, dude, you're leaning out. Yes. Uh, did you cut out bread and carbs completely? No, no. I went back to my nutrition plans that I stuck with, and I've been working out. So I am down almost 20 pounds now. So thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. Plus, trimming the beard helped a lot. Um, but yeah, that definitely, and I feel so much better. I just feel happier, and I'm getting back into a rhythm this channel as well because I was burning out from doing 2 videos a day, and while I love to do 2 videos a day with my full time job, I just can't. So I had to take care of my health. So thank you. You don't need a house if you're single. Get a tiny apartment and bank everything. That's what I'm doing right now. I have a tiny little apartment, but I'm at a point where the rent keeps going up, and it's not like it's exorbitant. And I understand the costs and the reasons why it's going up. But at the point where I'm at is, if the housing market comes down significantly, if it's going to come down 10, 15, 20%, I can buy a house, a multifamily house, and I can own that house and have someone else pay for my mortgage and be able to pay less by doing so. And that's kind of what my strategy is going to be. Now, while I'm in the process of doing that, I've also noticed how much money I can make from just having it in CDs and ETFs and dividends and stuff like that. So I'm like, do I even want the headaches of buying a house? It's going to be nice to have that equity and having somebody else's money go into that equity. So, it's still on my radar to make happen. But just I'm running some numbers on things, wondering what I want to do based upon how much effort I want to put into stuff. So, essentially, they post the numbers on the ir.tesla.com. So if you go to ir.tesla.com, I'll do it right here. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on. Hold on. Tesla.com. Yeah. That link right there should bring it up for you. Will the delivery data trigger a short squeeze? It might. If the deliveries beat, it might push up a short squeeze because we've already seen some FOMO going into it. So there might be even more FOMO that jumps in. It's totally possible. And again, you get to a short squeeze, you pull that up there, you have more and more people buying at that higher price because it's running up like it is. That it's one of those things to just pay attention to. If we see a massive run up, again, I think Tesla's going to be awesome long term, but in the moment, where are we at realistically? And should it be running to the numbers it's running to? Some people can argue, yes, it should be at that price based upon valuation, but we're sitting at a 75 PE right now based upon the macro environment. Just a few months ago, we were sitting at a 45 PE. So what is the difference between a few months ago and now? Not much. I mean, we really haven't gotten any new spectacular data coming out from Tesla saying, "Oh, all of a sudden we're blowing numbers off the roof where you've got, deliveries coming out like we've never seen before." No, as a matter of fact, over the process of the last few months, Tesla's come down on prices. They've had to battle all the things going on with the interest rates. So that's kind of where I'm at, is like, why were we a 45 before and a 75 now when not a significant amount has changed? What number do I expect from deliveries? 448. 448 deliveries, 478 production. Would you explain TSLY and why you invest in it? Certainly. So TSLY, sorry, I just keep on refreshing here. So TSLY is a yield max dividend ETF, and it's plays call options, and you get the dividends off of those call options. Very risky, of course, just like doing the options yourself. But because I don't have the money to play options myself, I can actually get some dividends through them by doing so. And the stock price itself right now is around $17. So it fluctuates more than Tesla does, but you get the dividends. And so last month it paid out 59%. The X date is the 5th. So I would say this Wednesday might be the last day to buy it, or tomorrow. Not sure which day it's going to be. If you guys happen to know, let me know. And then it pays out on the 15th. And so the way I looked at it was, well, I can put a good chunk of cash in there. And if every month, and it pays monthly. So if I can get back percentage, and dividends, significant percentage on a monthly basis, why not? That's just making me some money on top of it. Um, so, so that's what it is. But again, it is very risky. It can fluctuate significantly. It's new too, so it doesn't have a strong, long history to it. And it just makes me wonder, how long can it go? And it's basically been paying out massive dividends between 45 and 70% going back to January. But we've been on a bull run this entire time. What happens when we're not? What happens when we start going downhill? Do we lose those dividends? Does the stock price go down in value? So just the questions that I have, and warnings to pay. Oh, hold on, sorry. Oh, and some warnings to take into account. I'll look into it, but that's why I do it, is just strictly for those massive dividends that we're on right now. And I don't think it's ever going to go away, just because, again, I think Tesla's going to be awesome long term. So it could be one of those where if we pull down and maybe the value of it comes down below my cost basis, maybe I just add more to it so I can have more shares. So when we do come out of it and hit that next bull run, I can make even more money on those dividends because I have more shares. Oh, it's midnight for you in Taiwan. Yeah, I know. Some people just stay up late. Now, Brian, I was talking to Brian. He was up super early this morning. Like, I saw him responding to my tweets, and he's over in Seattle, 3 hours away. I'm like, dude, it's like 4 in the morning. What are you doing? Um, John, 150 was Musk selling shares to buy Twitter. Unlikely it goes there again. Yes and no. So obviously, the drama with what was going on with Elon selling shares. Him actually selling shares was not what physically drove the stock price down. It was people's reaction to Elon selling shares and him doing so for purchasing Twitter. And then because they didn't like what he was doing on Twitter, that is really what caused the majority of the sell off. Then, as we sold off, because of all the people who were in margin, all those margin calls came through. That ended up forcing a lot of that to happen as well. So that just magnified that whole sell off last year. Um, so looking at that, Elon was really just the catalyst behind all of that. If we have a lot of people going back into margin right now where we're at, and the macro environment is coming down, what could be that trigger that brings us down to hit that market 150 again? So we're really just looking for a catalyst, and it doesn't have to be Elon, but the whole entire setup and foundation is still there for us to get a pullback if we're just waiting for that catalyst. Kevin, Cybertruck will be the next catalyst for a major price spike to all-time highs. They look amazing out in public. Yeah, I've been loving that. And I think the Highland, I think we might hear about the Highland. If we don't hear about it today, for whatever reason, I think we might end up hearing about it on Q2 earnings call. And then probably mid-August, early to mid-August, I think we're going to hear about more information on the Cybertruck, the delivery event. And I think that's what we're going to hear about in August. So I think we hear about Highland. And I think Highland and what they explained to us in Highland and about cost reduction when it comes to production on the Model 3, that could be a catalyst for the stock price, especially if we get the information about Tesla's not hitting margins because they had to come down on prices, but the Highland is allowing them to come down on costs, which then will bring margins back up. That might offset that conversation when it comes to the earnings and that margin miss. Because how is the market going to react to it? We don't know, because the market's going to want to be like, well, what are you going to be cutting the costs to for the Highland? Show us, and we'll have to wait till the next earnings to see how that actually plays out. Then we get the Cybertruck, and I think that's going to be a huge catalyst, but I think it's going to be temporary until people start realizing that the Cybertruck production is going to be slow. So I think we're going to get a huge excited boost that's going to bump the stock price up. And then we're going to end up getting to a point where people are like, all right, well, that was awesome, but where's the Cybertruck? Why are they not out in mass? Why are we going to see? And then Tesla Q is going to come out and start being like, haha, told you so, and all this crap. And then once Tesla gets ramped with the Cybertruck, it'll be perfectly fine again. Robert, good morning, brother. Join your Spartacus. Oh, nice. Spartacus channel. Yes. Six pack being covered. It sure is. Yeah. My health and fitness channel. If any of you guys are into health and fitness, feel free to join Oracle Health and Fitness over there. I have a vlog every single day to help myself get back into shape. Because with all the wealth that we can gain from Tesla stock, it's going to be nothing if we don't have our health to enjoy it. Black shirt. No. Hold on, Mike. It's be a good human. So it's okay. It's only black because that's just the color I got it in. I have a green one on order, so it'll be here soon. So didn't mean to scare you, Mike. No disappointments. Let me see. Does Mexico start production with 25K or a Model Y? I have a feeling it's going to be the 25K car because they've already discussed how it's going to be an entirely new manufacturing process, and it is going to be the next gen vehicle. So I don't think that they're going to do the Model Y there. It also doesn't make sense because they're still going to have plenty of room to ramp Model Y in Austin. So there would be no reason for them to pump it out of Mexico when they really need to be looking at the next gen vehicle. What delivery number should be good for Tesla to go up? I think anything over 450 will give it a boost. 455 for sure. So I think those are the numbers to look at if it's over 450 for deliveries. Does Tesla offer financing worldwide, or is it for only specific regions? It's only specific regions. Yeah, it's only specific areas because not every country allows you to do the financing. So it depends on where you're at. And here in the U.S., I know they've dropped down the rates. In Europe, I've heard they dropped down the rates as well. So I do believe that there's some countries that they cannot do it in. What's going on, Hanif? We got, let me see. Can we see $200 after the quarterly report? What do you think? I mean, it's possible. I think at this point, we're going to see, obviously, the two big pieces are going to be what are deliveries, and then what's the margin talk going to be like? And dropping down to 200 afterwards could happen if obviously margins come in under 20%. That could be enough to bring the stock price down. Dirk, hi from Thailand. Hey, welcome. Late evening here. Always love your shows and grounded demeanor. Thanks, Dirk. I appreciate that. Perma Bull. Yes, rockets. Let's do this. Going to the moon. Are you an authentic news or just a personal vlog? For which one? So for my health and fitness channel, it's just a personal vlog. But I do share all sorts of tips and stuff because I've been doing health and fitness for over 30 years. So I've been doing that much longer than I've been doing investing. Here on this channel, I share whatever news comes out. I'll put my own insight into what I feel it is, but a lot of times it's just reiterating what news we specifically have as facts. So I try to do my best to express what is truly going on when it comes to Tesla. What do you think about American Waterworks and Nextera Energy? Honestly, buddy, I don't know about either of them. I on a different live stream, just because I want to make sure I don't miss the earnings, I'll jump onto Webull and I will take a look at those and do some diving into it. But yeah, I do not know anything about either one of them. I do know energy coming up. Like I love Enphase energy. So any renewable energies I think are good. It's just a matter of in this macro environment and economy, are they profitable and will they be able to weather the storm that we could potentially go through and come out on the other side strong, or are they going to be limping, or are they going to be dead? Blackjack, an interesting fact. I asked AI where Tesla will be in 21 days. It said 254.99. I like, you know what? That's great. Please track it and please keep us posted on that. That is awesome. $400 per share by July of 2024, possible or likely. By July of next year, I think it's all going to come down to when is the macro environment going to turn? And July of next year is right around that time. We're coming close to election time. So, the left is going to want to make sure that they've got themselves set up to be able to win the election. So they might want to cause this whole thing to be turning around at that point. But whether we hit 400 at that point or not, I do not know. My price targets, which I will be updating after this, do have us closing 2024 over $400. So whether it's by July or not, I do think we will cross $400 and get to all-time highs by the end of next year. Let me see here. Just checking one thing. What's going on, Dion? Numbers are dropping any minute now. Price target for 2027. Let me see if I can find that super quick here while we are waiting. Oops. Let me see. So looking at my price targets, and again, I'm going to be updating all my price targets after we get the delivery numbers. Let's see. I'll pop it up for you guys to see here. So 2027, I have 1,066. So I'll leave this up quickly for you guys because then I want to switch back over to the other screen. But you guys can take a look here. These are my price targets through 2033. As of right now, I have not updated these since the end of Q1. So I'm just kind of waiting for these new numbers to come out. Just based upon time that I have, it's easier for me to just do it on a quarterly basis. Unless something major comes up, I'll just do it on a quarterly basis. I was trying to do it monthly. I couldn't do it justice and give you guys information properly without rushing things, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, and again, so to put it into context, my valuation model has EVs, a little bit of energy based upon the information we know about energy, and FSD as a percentage based upon what I think take rate is going to be and deliveries. So because we don't have any specific model as to how it's going to be licensed, how it's going to be charged, or anything like that, it's really hard to get a full true number on it. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can see like, well, what's the revenue generation for Uber and Lyft? What is going on with all of those? How about the taxi service in the cities? You can do all that. Some people have done that. For me, I just do it strictly off of a percentage of take rate and deliveries. And so for me, once we actually get a true number on it, that will most likely go up because I'm usually conservative. What was the all-time high of Tesla stock and when? Was that just an error? Wasn't an error, but it was during COVID when interest rates were almost zero. So you can get margin money for almost nothing. Just saying, we have 420 people viewing right now. That's awesome. 420, and that's the highest I've ever had on here. So you guys are awesome, and that number is awesome. Sorry about that. But yeah, so it was during COVID. So I wouldn't say it was an error. It was just because people are able to get margin free and nearly free. And they caused a huge bubble going up. And I want to say it was like 414, somewhere around there, I think was the all-time high. I think I should get in now and just hold it for life. Your choice. You can get into the stock whenever. The questions I always ask people are, first, do your own due diligence and research. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of great info to look into. I like to be one of them, and I always encourage people to look elsewhere, and then also look at the whole thing yourself. Learn about valuations. Create your own valuation model. But what is your time horizon? Like if you plan on holding it for 10 years, what do you think the stock price will be worth in 10 years? If buying at the price of $261, you think you're going to get a good return on it in the next 10 years based upon your price targets, then that answers your question of yes, you should buy. But you've got to answer those questions for yourself to figure that out. What's the probability of Tesla can go to 300 by the end of the year? I think it's good. I think we can get there. I do. Sorry, I was reading some other comments here. Yeah, I think it's possible that we get to 300 by the end of the year, but we may hit 300 and come down before the end of the year. I think again, the macro time is going to make a huge difference on that. If we beat, I'm going to celebrate with a few beers. Nice, Alex. I normally, when I'm working out like this and losing weight, I try to stay on track and not drink too much. But my brother makes beer and he gave me a 6 pack. Plus, I'm going to visit him tomorrow and visiting friends today. So I may have a couple of beers. What's great about not drinking when you're working out is when you have a beer, you're like half in the bag after one. Super cheap date. Save money to be able to invest more in Tesla. And it's not as many calories coming in. So I don't have to work out as hard to work it off. It's brilliant. Let's see. Going through, yeah, everybody's asking what time it's coming out. Should be out any minute now. It's been typically right around now that it comes out. So Karav and I are both refreshing like madmen, waiting. Expected margin, I want to say it's around 20%. Vehicle margin, that's X credits, I believe is 20%. Do you know if TSLY is qualified or non-qualified dividend? That's a great question. I'm actually going to look into that. I do not know. Nobody has asked me, and I have not checked. So I will check on that because that's actually a good question. Good morning from Hawaii. Awesome, Hawaii. Oh, I want to go back there. How's Hawaii these days? I miss it. I was there for a little while, just on vacation, but it was so nice. All time high. Yep, 414.50. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was around there because 314 was the last. 314 was that ceiling that we just could not break through last year and kept coming down. And I think that's going to be a huge ceiling for us to get to right now this year before we have that pullback. Are we going to be able to break that 313 mark? Marco, what is Tesla price target for the end of this week? I got nothing for you, man. I'll tell you what. I will tell you what the stock price is going to be at the end of this week. At the end of this week, trying to predict, especially with deliveries coming out today, that's not easy. Oh, it's out. Let me get to the info here. All right, so we've got on our numbers. Drop this. We have no refresh. Refresh. Where are you at? Much better. There it is. Production delivery numbers. We have production 479, 700, deliveries 466. Holy crap. Wow. Brian was so close. So many of us were so low. I had production close at 479 with my 478. Production's so much easier to predict, but 466. Ooh, wow. That's huge. That could move the stock price up significantly. Yeah. Got Peggy all over that one. Sheesh. That's huge beat. Huge beat. Wow. Yeah, so we can definitely see a significant jump tomorrow in the stock price for sure. And again, I think the question is still going to be where are the margins at? But at this point now, even if margins come in at 19%, people had factored in 445,000 deliveries. So you do the math on that, even missing margins by a percent or two, but you brought in 20,000 more vehicles. I got to give it to Nick. If you guys are over on Twitter, Nick had mentioned so many people talking about Elon's tweet about, margin and making sure you don't go into margin for reasons. Nick was like, well, maybe Elon did that not because they're going to miss, but because they're going to beat by so much. And because they're going to beat by so much, he doesn't want people to go into margin because who knows what's going to happen. So kudos to Nick out there. Nick Gibbs, I'm going to shoot him a kudos over on Twitter because he was spot on with that. Holy dang. That's a huge beat. Unbelievable. Well done. Sorry, running through the comments now. My goodness. Just exciting to see this number at 466. That was huge. Yeah, buddy. 300. I think this here could be pushing us up. I think tomorrow's a short trading day too. Markets close at 1 p.m. They close 3 hours early. We could see a very volatile, screaming day running up in the stock price tomorrow. Yeah, that's huge. Um, yeah. So I think we could see the $300 maybe hit this week. It's totally possible that we hit this week. And going back to the questions about do we see a short squeeze, we might. We just might see that short squeeze because there were probably a bunch of people loading up on shorts on Friday, assuming Tesla was going to miss on deliveries. So that could lead us to maybe we, I, like, I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it, but I don't want to risk being wrong. But maybe we push that 314 mark today or this week. That's wow. My goodness. Wow. Just I've run through the comments here. You guys are lighting it up. I love it. Um, Stuart, I was hoping for a miss so I could pick up at cheapo prices. Stuart, this is an awesome number. So this to me pretty much guarantees we are going to be seeing a 500,000 deliveries for Q3, almost guaranteed. Just seeing that number jump from 422 to 466, I think we're going to be seeing a 500,000 vehicles getting delivered in Q3. But again, with what's going on in the macro environment, we might get opportunities to buy later. So just need to hold longer, or hey, you got to make the decision as to what you want to do, whether you're going to hold or buy. But looks like that dip that we were waiting for this week might not happen. Juan, great news. Tesla, Viva Tesla. Yes. Thank you, Tim, for your live chat. You're most welcome, Juan. Most welcome. Yeah. So there was that gap. So yeah, great production deliveries, 466. Yeah. Congrats to all. Karav, I'm sorry for being off on deliveries this quarter. Karav, hey, we were all together. So we were all wrong together. But, based upon the numbers we've been seeing, I did the same thing, but again, production to me is so much easier to come through with. So I stuck with my production, and I dropped it down. I was at 453 deliveries, 453,000. I dropped it down just because I wasn't sure. And not to say I didn't have faith in Tesla, but just wasn't sure. Stay away from HOA. Yeah. Yes, that is my plan. Just stay away from it. Hold on. Hold on, Alan. But the guy in the Tesla mailroom assured me their numbers sucked. Now what am I going to do? I owe big money. Oh, Alan, you're funny. Yeah, good point. The gap between production and deliveries is smaller compared to Q1. So that is them smoothing out the delivery wave. So they're doing a much better job on that. Ashen, how many shares do you have? I currently have 70. Well, between my two accounts, I have 82 shares. And then TSLA and TSLL or TSLY. Yep, this also means they had records in every region worldwide. That's huge. You need to be 366 by January. How likely? Man, like I don't want to be a bear about it, but looking at the macro environment, I don't know. It really is going to depend on when we pull down. Yeah, the people who were out there saying they wanted 469, 420, they were all the closest. So Mike, yep, 469, yep. So anybody who had the 469, 420, you guys win. Congratulations. Yep, 3 years of holding is paying off, and just wait till it's another 3 years, or another 5 years, or another 10 years. Yep, Alex, I will be celebrating with you later. Once I get to my final destination and I'm not driving anymore, I will definitely have a beer to celebrate. Maybe time to sell Tesla again next week if it goes to 300. I mean, everybody do your own, make your own decisions, but knowing where Tesla is at with RSI, with everything else that's going on, with earnings coming up, anybody who's swing trading could be an opportunity to take some profits, but that is your decision. I am not going to be selling personally, but that's because I'm still adding. Let me see. Yep. If you believe in a company, you should treat it as your own business and invest weekly or monthly. Rule number one. Yeah. To me, I related a lot to health and fitness. Same thing. It's the little things you do every day. I dollar cost average every single day into Tesla. Every single day, I pay attention to my nutrition. I do my workout every single morning. It is my dollar cost averaging for my health. And I do the same thing for Tesla. And I'm doing very well and I'm successful with both. So Time from Tesla tequila. I do not have any Tesla tequila. Nope, that I don't have. It'll be beer today for me. I'm not. So I did my senior thesis on the history of beer, um, but my stomach doesn't handle beer the same way it used to. But I still love it. I still enjoy it. So it will be beer today. Yep, start of year productions were 1.8 million for the year. Now I think we can get to 1.9. Even as Elon said, he says 2 million is not out of the question. It's just a matter of do they have the demand for it based upon interest rates. Um, so, so I think we still have a chance of hitting 2 million. So again, I'm going to update my production and delivery numbers um, later this weekend. And so anybody who's a member or a patron, I will get those out to you. I'm going to try to get them out either later today or tomorrow. I'll put them over on Patreon and for all of my members on here. And I'll get them all to you guys so that you can see what my updated numbers are going to look like. And then as soon as I do that, I update my valuation model. So I'll share both of them with you, and that'll update all my price targets through 2033. When do you think EVs really make a breakthrough in the US? So it's going to be this year. Model Y is going to be the top selling vehicle in the world of all vehicles. Next year, I think we're going to start to see that tip, and it's really not going to happen until 2025 when the compact car comes out, because that's the last domino that needs to fall when it comes to all the prices. Because right now, Tesla's average price for their vehicles is lower. Um, the price parity is lower than what it is for ICE vehicles, but ICE vehicles still have significantly lower priced vehicles overall for a mass part of the population. So I think it's going to be 2025 when that really turns the corner. Yes, honey, if opening up some champagne, yes. Champagne. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. This is definitely something to celebrate. This isn't like hey, we squeaked in at over 450. This is we smashed it at 466. Um, Yep, best-selling car besides trucks is Model Y EVs are in the US. They are, and so the Model Y is there, but, Model Y, Model 3 obviously doing very well, but when it comes to EVs overall, I do think it's gonna take a couple of more years for it to really for everybody to be like, "Alright, well, EVs are here." Like, those of us in the community, we see it, but when you talk to somebody who isn't in the Tesla community, they may not even understand that it's just that big. They don't see the numbers, they don't pay attention to that stuff. They go by what they see on the road. And I'm sure they see more Teslas on the road, but they still see a lot more ICE vehicles on the road. Yeah, buying under 200 becomes harder and harder. It does, but I do still think we'll hit there. We just need to be patient. Even with this number, not to squash any of the excitement from today, just understanding, you know, where we are at in the overall economy. I still think we have a chance of getting back under 200. I invest in ETFs and only two stocks, Apple and Tesla. Two good options to have. Which one of these two would you hold 15 years timeline? Tesla. Reason being, I think Apple will be less volatile, so you're not going to have to worry about massive swings up and down anywhere near as much as you will with Tesla. But Apple is also much higher up on their S curve, and they're really more of, I don't want to call them a value play, but I mean, Warren Buffett owns them. But Apple is not going to see as much, in my opinion. I don't think Apple is going to see as much of a return as you will with Tesla. Tesla could very easily 10x in the next 10 years. I don't think Apple will do that. I don't think Apple has the chance of 10xing in 10 years. So that's my take on it. Daryl, everybody please realize that 466,140 deliveries means just that. Many more cars are on the road collecting data towards FSD. Great point, Daryl. Keep going at this rate and FSD will get significantly better. That's a great point. And especially with Dojo coming online this summer, when I was talking with Nick Gibbs, the discussion was whoever has the most data coming in is going to win when it comes to FSD. But he corrected me and said it's not as much how much data you have coming in, it's how can you handle that data? And That's the big piece. And Dojo is what's going to be able to handle all of that data coming in. So with all the cars on the road and Dojo coming online, now Tesla has the data coming in and a way of handling it all. So that is a great point, Daryl. I have 50K to invest. Where shall I invest? Your advice, please. Well, I cannot give advice. That is not allowed here on YouTube. But it all comes down to a lot of the questions. What's your risk tolerance? What are you looking for? Are you looking for long-term growth? Are you looking for swing trading? Are you looking for some sort of cash return of some sort, like a dividend? Um, that's what I look at. And I do like to be diversified despite having 75% of my stock portfolio in Tesla. I like to be diversified in other areas. So dollar cost averaging, the way I did it was once I got a lump sum of cash, I set up dollar cost averaging into daily into Tesla, into TSLY, and a couple other places, because doing it that way means that I don't have to try and time the market, or I don't have to worry about, let me just buy tomorrow, put my $50,000 in, and then if it falls down, now I have to worry about my emotions and be like, oh, did I make a mistake? Do I need to sell it? Should I sell it? Should I sell and then buy back in later? By dollar cost averaging, and again, everybody has a different scenario. Different places of the world cannot do this. But if you have the ability to dollar cost average in some way, might be hey, let me pick these stocks, dividends, ETFs, whatever you want to do, to dollar cost average into on a weekly, monthly, daily, quarterly basis, whatever you want. This way, as the market fluctuates, you may not hit the bottom, but because you've been dollar cost averaging, you'll be closer to the bottom than people who may have tried to time it and missed. Yes, it is a potential financial suggestion. Those shirts are coming, Hanif. Still working on them. Just been busy, but potential financial suggestions. Those I can give. Yeah, I think at this price, Tesla is a steal right now if you are holding. I agree. I think I think Tesla right now, this price is great for depending on your thesis. I think in 5 years, 10 years from now, this price is awesome. Stefano, thank you so much for your take. Much appreciated. Greetings from Italy. Oh, thank you. On my long-term plan, I do plan on buying a castle over in Italy. So in the Asti region is where I plan on buying it. That's where my grandfather was from. Let me see. Michael, best investments: Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, Ethereum. Can't argue that one. I think Amazon's good. I think Apple is still good too. You know, whether you like Mark Zuckerberg or not, I think Meta is going to be fine. Sorry, Elon's tweeting lots of things. Nothing. It wasn't specifically about the release though. Just because they, for you guys who know, Elon tries to give people hints when he can, but the team over there at Tesla is not allowed to talk about anything. That's all information they're not allowed to share. Thank you, William. Appreciate that. Let's see. Where am I missing here? Oh, 466,000 production. That was deliveries is 466,000. 479 is production over deliveries. So when it comes down to importance, production still right now is important. Tesla is delivering every vehicle that it makes. There's just that window. Like it looks like they're not, because there's a gap there, but it's just, it takes some time to actually deliver the vehicles after they get produced. It's not instant. It's not like I'm sending you an email and you get it instantly. It takes some time to get the vehicle from production to the consumer. So production right now is still more important, which is why Elon is constantly looking at what bottlenecks are out there to hold up production. Because as we get through the interest rate environment we're in and interest rates start to come down, that by itself will allow prices to go back up on vehicles, because consumers aren't spending as much over the long term of the term of that loan to purchase the vehicle. They're not looking at 6, 7, 8% interest. They're looking at lower interest rates, which makes it more affordable for them. And at that time, because Tesla's going to have more economies of scale, the cost of production will also come down. So this is why we're going to see a massive run in the stock price 2025 to 2026. Interest rates coming down makes it more affordable. Tesla coming down on prices makes it even more affordable. Tesla coming out with a compact car makes it even more accessible to even more people, thereby making it even more affordable. Three things massively coming in to bring the pricing down of the vehicles and bringing margins back up for Tesla coming in the next 2 to 3 years. That is going to be massive, and that's why production is more important, because eventually we'll get to a point where we'll be back at that place where I think the compact car could have a 6, 12, 18-month lead time to wait to get yours. So good news at 466. Great news. Great news at 466. Absolutely. Let me see. So money price prediction 280. I think so. I think 280 is reasonable with a short trading day. I think we're going to see a massive gap up tomorrow for sure. So I think we'll see a gap up at 261. Now we might even open tomorrow at 280. We might hit 280 and push closer to 300. I believe looking at the last levels that we had, 282 was one of those levels. So it might be one of those things where we hit 280, open at 280, run up a bit, and then maybe close around the 285 to 290 mark. And then of course we're off on Wednesday, and then Tuesday, then Wednesday we come back. Alex, I have options in stocks. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, anybody who is shorting, who decided to short on Friday, is now shitting their pants. And anybody who decided to play options, it was definitely a gamble. Just like earnings, it's a coin flip today. What was going to happen? Were we going to see a beat or a miss? So I think this was a good enough beat to drive the stock price up for sure. Yeah, I can't wait to see the Bears on the news tomorrow trying to downplay this. Yeah, the only thing they're going to come out and say, and I can almost guarantee it, so pay attention, is they're going to say, well, the only reason Tesla was able to do that was because they dropped prices so much, so we're going to wait for earnings and see how bad their margins are. That's exactly how they're going to play it out. Forecasted price for tomorrow, we just talked about it. So I think 280 is a good open price. I think that might be where we jump to. I mean, that's a big jump, but I think it's possible. Ramsey's, my cost basis is 221. My main portfolio, I have 70 and a half shares, and 221 is my cost basis. Just awesome split in 26 or 27. Looking at the timing, we might. I don't think Tesla's ever going to cross $1,000 again. I believe Tesla may do splits before we get to that point, or they'll announce a split before we get there and maybe run up over 1,000 before it splits. But knowing the reasons they did it before, where they wanted to, get access to all the new employees that came in. So thinking about Mexico coming online next year, we've got the Shanghai energy facility that's going up. We've got Lathrop that's going up. There's a lot of new employees that are going to be coming into Tesla as the stock price goes back up. So right now it's still in a viable place for people to get in through their stock employee purchase plan. But as we go into 2025, that stock price starts pushing up over $500. We start getting closer to that $600-$700 range, especially if news comes out about the compact car. That could really help the stock price take off. So you could be right. Could be that I think it's 2025 or 2026 could be that next split that we see. And it'll probably end up being like a 3-to-1 split, but maybe it'll be more because they do have a good grasp on the macro environment. So if they're not anticipating anything major, maybe they do a 4-to-1 split to bring it down to 250 or a 5-to-1 to bring it down to a 200. Keep it right around that level. So again, there's a lot to play out between now and then, but I think 2025 to 2027, I think you're right in that ballpark. I think we'll see a split at that point. Oh, and here he is. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, are we still on?
I can't hear you.
Oh, really?
Oh boy. I'm glad Brian was able to. Oh,
let me try these. Maybe this will do it. Maybe this will do it. Maybe.
Oh, it's on my end.
Oh, it's on your end?
Oh, let me see.
Are we on? Are we on? Are we live?
Let me see. I'm just going through some comments here while Brian's working on his audio. I mean, I know Brian knows sign language and he can mime over there as well. He's been practicing his miming abilities.
How about now? Now?
No.
Let
me see. Since you didn't Q1 show record numbers and the stock dropped, I think it did, but I think that was because there was a lot going on in the macro environment at the time. Because if I remember correctly, that was right before we were trying to figure out if the Fed was going to pause interest rates in March, and they did not. And that is a big reason why we came down.
How about now? No.
Let's see.
Can you hear me at all, Tim?
No.
No.
I'm trying to see, Brian. Yeah, your mic's not muted on my end, so you're good.
Oh.
I see.
Let me pop out and pop back in.
Tay, the deliveries have been announced already. Deliveries are out. They are 466,000. Oh, maybe it was on my end. Maybe I was muted. Brian, you know, it was all me, Brian.
Was it really?
Somebody came on here and they're like, we can hear, everybody else could hear you, but I couldn't because my computer was muted.
That's
my bad.
Funny.
My mistake.
Apologies to the audience.
That is all me. Awesome. So, Brian, what do you think? Did you hear the news?
No, what's going on today? Is something going on?
Yeah, I think Tesla was doing something today. Something about, I don't know, giving cars to people. I don't know. They made some announcement.
Yeah. Wall Street was saying numbers quite a bit lower than what it turned out to be.
Yeah, such a disappointment.
Yeah, they missed by more than a standard deviation.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I was within 2%.
Nice.
Per my usual. I got some kudos on my channel. That was
very, very nice. Yeah, my deliveries missed, but my production, because that's what I focus on anyway. I had 478. I was short by 1,600. Wow. I'll take it. I will take that as a win.
Yeah. So yeah, we were doing some happy dancing. Pretty excited. Yeah. So awesome. You know, I don't have to tell your viewers, they know. The people who actually follow Tesla and just Tesla know so much more than the analysts who follow all automotive.
Yeah.
If I ask Tim, give me numbers for every automaker, how many of them do you think you would get within a percent on?
One.
Yeah, a handful at best.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get them all. And we don't pay you $500,000. We should. So what I'm saying to the audience at home is give Tim $500,000. It's just.
I mean, it's standard for YouTube.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were pretty excited with how the numbers came out.
Oh yeah. So what do you think? So as we've been talking, discussing what's going on with the stock price tomorrow, what I mean, I was trying to figure out, and of course, I know you don't play the stock short-term price game at all.
Right. But I do have opinions based on what I've seen in the past. Yeah. So if I'd asked you 2 hours ago, at what production number will the stock not go down? Now, Wall Street was saying deliveries of 455. Let's just talk deliveries. 466 it came in at. If it had come in at they said 445. Yep. If it had come in at 444, 999, the stock would have dropped 2%.
Yep.
Easily. At what kind of beat do you believe the stock would not go down? Because for me, we are over that number.
I agree. I think 455 to me was that number where it wouldn't go down.
It would hold
up. But yeah, and I think 460
Yeah,
was definitely that number where we'd see it tick up. So 466 should definitely see an up.
should. And then the question becomes, who's got sell orders at 265, 270?
Right.
Because we may hit walls of resistance where people are profit taking. But you see more of that at month end, at quarter end, and certainly at year end, where they're just trying to get their books kind of lined up and tidy.
Yeah.
The only thing you might see is some people wanting to close positions before the holiday, because other
Right.
markets will continue trading on the 4th.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's
it's
what we had seen on Friday. The last 5 minutes, there was a big sell-off, just
mm,
because going into the weekend with deliveries, you never know. So obviously, people were just, hey, let me just play it safe, take some profits, and ride through the weekend. And now going into tomorrow, we're going to see a massive gap up because I sure as hell know that all those people who sold the last 5 minutes on Friday are going to be buying back in pre-market tomorrow, and we're going to see a massive jump.
not to derail you, but what was Kirov's number?
440. He and I were the same. 448
Oh,
or
you stole
449.
his
Sorry,
numbers
he was
again.
at 449.
Oh, so you played the Price is Right, just went a little under.
Yes.
Smart. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Is find the smartest person you know, go just
Yep.
a hair under.
Oh yeah, of course. And
Yeah,
and for me, and I was telling everybody else, the way I do my delivery numbers isn't. I don't do the numbers like Troy does or like a lot of other people do,
right,
checking VIN numbers. I
right,
come up with my production numbers, and I was like, well,
right.
what percentage of production is going to get delivered this quarter?
My delivery number, because everyone pushed, was 469, 420. So I
And
was,
those
yeah,
were the winners.
within 3,000. So
Yeah.
I'm quite pleased with both my real number and my meme number.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to say, because I do have to go see a cardboard boat race. Uh, I do. I'm going to the cardboard
That's
boat
awesome.
regatta. Yeah, they do it once a year. Um, what a value you are to the community. Congratulations on crushing it on production.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
honored to be, in your sphere, as it were, and onward and upward, man. You're doing great stuff, and I'm really excited for you, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I love having you on here. I love hearing
Yeah,
your thoughts on things, and hopefully we'll be able to get you on here for earnings call as well.
yeah, because that's something I don't. Yeah, we'll figure something out, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
To all the viewers at home, I can't see your chat, but I'm sure I love you too. So
Oh yes. Everybody is just very glad you're on here in the chat. Everybody
cool.
is grateful that you're here.
I appreciate that. So Tim, congratulations again. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Brian. Have a great one. Enjoy the boat race.
I will.
Awesome. Glad he was able to hop on here. That's fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Yep. So, yep. And so the next big one is going to be, oh, sorry, I just missed it. I just had it up here. Smokeout says July 19th. That is going to be earnings. That is when it's coming out. We will be doing a live stream at that point. Yeah, my gosh, what a great day. What a great day. Willie, Tim and Brian, good guys. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Love this community. There's so many awesome people out here. I wish I could have them all on at the same time. Um, just can't, because there's just not enough time in the day and everybody's got other things to do. Oh my goodness. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to get going. This was awesome. I don't have a boat race to go to, but I have some celebrating to do on my own, and I love celebrating with you guys on here. So we'll wait and see what's going on tomorrow. I will be doing a video tomorrow to kind of recap what's going on with the stock price. Not sure what time I will have that video out, but we'll take a look and see what is going on. I may do a video in the morning to kind of track what's going on for the pre-market open. And then on Tuesday, I will be doing a live stream as well at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time. We will be doing a live stream on Tuesday, and we'll be able to recap everything that happened on Monday and how the market reacted to these delivery numbers. So otherwise, I hope everyone has an awesome finish to their weekend. Those of you guys in the U.S., enjoy your holiday weekend. Stay safe out there. To those of you guys from around the world, great numbers. Great to celebrate this with you guys. Absolutely amazing. Have yourselves a great